Now, I won't spend a lot of time just kind of laying the groundwork, because I think you've probably been through most of the reasons why biofuels are important, but just to kind of take a quick look at it. We know that biofuels will play an increasing role as we go forward with energy challenge, just from an energy demand standpoint. It's energy security, some of the issues that are very key, climate change, and how can biofuels affect positively climate change around CO2, and there's always the issue of local emissions. These are regulated emissions in various areas of our country or globally. There's a potential to provide economic development of certain parts of the world through this approach. The key to biofuels, I think, in the short term is that they're easily implemented. They're liquid fuels used at low concentration in existing vehicles, whether that's gasoline, bioethanol and gasoline, biodiesel and diesels. It doesn't require any modification of the vehicles, and for the most part in supply and distribution, they can be handled. We've overcome the challenges of doing that over a number of years. They'll have to evolve some to be sustainable. There are some challenges looking out into second generation biofuels. How do we make them available and on a sustainable basis? I think you've heard us say that Shell's a leader in first generation biofuels, but we're really focusing our efforts on looking ahead, and that's kind of what I'd like to talk about more specifically. Biofuels from biomass, I think that's we don't have to worry too much about that. Really just wanted to say, generally speaking, biofuels are somewhat less energy dense. We talked about energy density and how it relates to fuel economy. That's a challenge. It's something we know about. At the moment, they're typically more expensive. It's probably going to be that way for a while. And then sustainability issues, we're really talking about first generation biofuels. These are biofuels from food crops. And, you know, as we go forward, that competes with food sources. Is there enough available? And that's why we're really pushing hard on second generation biofuels. I hope this does it. If you look over to the right, that's conventional ethanol. That's bioethanol from corn as we know it today, for example. So in the gold. So you ferment the sugars, you have a distillation process, you get out the ethanol, you blend it with gasoline. So what we're looking at now is a front-end process where we take these materials that contain cellulose. So it's really composed of, most plant materials composed of a mixture of hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin, fairly complex organic molecules, but fermentable starches and sugars type molecules can be extracted from them in a kind of sort of enzymatic hydrolysis process. And what happens, we get to the same point, we have the same back end. To get to your question, the idea is to take the lignin, which really only has BTU value, has very little other value, we burn that to make steam, do the distillation, rather than use natural gas. So that's what goes into the CO2 wheel-to-wheel calculation.
Yeah, the 90% assumes a steam using the lignin.
It assumes you're using the lignin, yes.
But the 90% also includes the plant growing.
Absolutely.
Using
yeah.
carbon dioxide from the environment as it grows.
Thanks, John. I mean, obviously the CO2, the plants are absorbing CO2 as they grow, so we take that whole life cycle analysis into account.
Are these source plants going to require the same level of, say, fertilizer as corn does? Because that's one of the areas where corn's energy value becomes questionable because you have to use natural gas-based fertilizer to grow it. Do these grow without?
I'm not an expert in the area, but there are, grass materials that are a lot easier to grow. Grows a bit more naturally, and I think that'll be easier to handle. It'll be a better fit.
Then you'll be able to use the corn stalk on this. So you're using the corn to eat instead.
Yeah, that's right. Corn stover in principle, yeah.